Hey guys, I'm here to do the top 5 standalone novels tag. Nobody's really tagged me. I just really wanted to do it because I think standalone novels are very important, and there are really not that many of them, especially in young adult genre. So I thought this tag is really helpful for some people who really don't want to get stuck in so many series like I have. This tag was really hard for me because although I have read several standalone novels, I might not own them. One of them I am going to be naming I do not own. I have 4 physical form and 1 ebook with me, and I am going to add one, so it's going to be top 6 standalone novels. And one of them I do not have on ebook or physical copy, so that's just how it goes. All right, my first one I'm going to talk about is Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys, possibly. And this is a novel in the point of view of a 15-year-old girl named Lena. And it's, a World War II story, historical fiction, and of course, if any of you guys have a heart, World War II, anything will make you just cry your eyes out. I wasn't that heartbroken with this story, but I did shed some tears, but it wasn't like a huge tearjerker for me. But it was it's not light. If you're looking for a light read, find some contemporary because this is not for you. But if you're looking for something heavy, this is probably not for you, but it's a good place to start. It definitely tugs at your heartstrings. So, definitely check out Between Shades of Grey. The second one I'm going to be talking about is The Replacement by Brenna Yovanov. And as much as you would love to think this is a horror story, it's not. I think this is a standalone novel. When I read it, I bought it from Amazon, and I read it like 6 months after I bought it. And it wasn't a series at the time. It was a standalone. And I just checked on Goodreads about a month ago, and it was still a standalone. So I'm not sure if there's maybe a sequel in the future, because I'm not going to lie, it ends, and the way it ends, there needs to be some kind of sequel or some kind of novella at least to come after it. But I can't really tell you much of what it's about. It's about a guy named Mackie. He's a teenager. He lives in a small town, and he comes from a world of tunnels and black murky water, a world of living dead girls ruled by a little tattooed princess. He's a replacement, which means he was left in the crib of a human baby when he was, a baby. But now, throughout the book, he's very slowly dying in this human world, which he finds out he doesn't really belong to. So it's actually really good. It's a dark, I wouldn't say mystery. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just really good. You guys have to just go to Goodreads and check it out because it's freaking awesome. The third book I want to talk about is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. This book, oh my gosh, I love this book. I actually have not read this version because I read it way back when it came out. And then I got an email randomly that said, "Hey, Andrea, I saw that you rated and reviewed this book, and it's coming out in paperback, and I have some copies. Would you like it before it comes out in paperback?" And I'm like, yes. So I was sent the paperback before it actually came out on shelf, so I was really happy. But this book is, I can't even describe it. Like, if any of you have ever read this book, you probably know how hard it is to really describe it, because you could describe it all you want and it still doesn't sound that good because you can't really get the whole story in, obviously. You just have to read this book. It's amazing. I can read the back to you. It says, "A mysterious island, an abandoned orphanage, a strange collection of peculiar photographs. It all waits to be discovered in Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, an unforgettable novel that mixes fiction and photography in a thrilling reading experience. As our story opens, a horrific family tragedy sets 16-year-old Jacob journeying to a remote island off the coast of Wales, where he discovers the crumbling ruins of Miss Peregrine's home for peculiar children. As Jacob explores its decaying bedrooms and hallways, it becomes clear that Miss Peregrine's children were more than just peculiar. They may have been dangerous. They may have been quarantined on a deserted island for good reason, and somehow, impossible though it seems, they may still be alive. And there is amazing pictures in here. Well, obviously, I remember when I first got this book, when I first got it from the library back when, I never realized that she was not touching the ground until I got to the part in the book about her. And I was like, no way. I honestly, I didn't even see the shadow. I just thought she was standing there. But there's some really nice pictures in here. Definitely old pictures. Of course, all the peculiar children, they all have different pictures in here. Some are really creepy. Some are just, whatever. Like this. What is this? Some creepy stuff. Alright, so just check it out. I mean, especially if you love history. I would call it a historical fiction. And I will just hint at something. If any of you guys love time travel, pick it up. It's awesome. The next book I have is called If You Find Me by Emily Murdoch. And it is a novel. And I can't really describe this well, especially because, there isn't much. Yes, it looks like a lot is said, but there's not much there. Basically, it's about a 15-year-old girl with her little sister. She's a mute. She doesn't talk. She whispers every now and then to her, but otherwise she doesn't talk. And they're out in the trailer, or in a camper, and in the middle of the woods, and they haven't seen their mother for who knows how many months, maybe even a year. I can't remember. It's been a while since I read it. But so then their father out of the blue comes and rescues them. The father that this girl, the older sister, hasn't seen since she was little, and he's not even the father of the younger sister. So he just comes and rescues them and said, come and live with me, and blah, blah, blah. And she has so many struggles because, to get by, her mother made her do things with people, and there's a crazy ending, and you need to read this. And the next book I have, my fifth one, technically my last, of course, is The Cliché, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Crazy good. It's not a cancer story, guys. I don't care what anybody says. There's cancer in it, but it's not a cancer story. But basically, it's a cancer story, but the cancer doesn't make the story, if that makes sense. It is so good. I'm not even going to go into it because I know it's pretty much on everybody's top 5 standalone. And it's just amazing. You guys have to check it out. And the last book I have, which I don't have a copy of on ebook or physical copy because I had it from the library and I just didn't bother getting it. It's called 172 Hours on the Moon by Johann Harstad. And that book was crazy. If I could find out how to put a picture up here somewhere, I definitely will. Not sure if I can actually be that advanced, but if not, I'll just put a link down below in the description bar. But basically, it is about these 3 teenagers from 3 different countries. One is, I think her name is Midori from Japan. One is Mia from, I want to say, Norway. I can't remember. And then there's this guy, why can't I remember his name? And he's from France. And his goal is they each have a goal. The boy, he wants to get as far away from his ex-girlfriend as possible. Here, I have Goodreads. Hold on, I'll tell you his name. Antoine from France. He wants to get as far away from his ex-girlfriend as possible. Midori feels that she can live her life better outside of Japan. And Mia hopes that by going to the moon will be her the ticket to fame for her punk band. Okay, so basically there is this lottery held by NASA, and it's for 3 teenagers to go to the moon. And, you know, all you do is, you know, you do this little questionnaire. You have to be healthy and make sure you're eligible to go. And then they draw names. So then you have to go to this camp to be trained, obviously, like astronaut training. You have to learn all the history and be physically capable to do this stuff. And so these 3 kids were picked to go. And so after they go to the moon with some of their mentors, and there's some creepy crap happening, guys. Like, it is seriously like the Twilight Zone meets, I don't know, Twilight Zone and young adult mashed together, and it's crazy. Like Twilight Zone and a horror film, and I wouldn't even say zombies, because they're not zombies. There's just some weird crap going up on the moon, going on up there, and you guys just have to read this book because it's crazy. Like, oh my gosh, it's not even the ending. I mean, everything screws with your head. Like, you will not be sane for a good week after you read this book, because it will mess with your head, and it's crazy. It's mind-blowing. That's the word. It's just mind-blowing. So you guys have to check that book out. I'll definitely put a link down below for that. I'll put a link down below for all these books. So yeah, those were my top 6 standalone novels that I really suggest people to go read. Now, I will let you guys know that Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, it was a standalone whenever I read it, but they are actually coming out with a sequel. I think it's coming out maybe January 2014. So it's coming up soon, sooner than you guys think. And it's called, I forgot what it's called. Oh, I'll put it up here. But it's the sequel, and it basically continues right from the end of this, because the ending will just make you mad. So honestly, I mean, I read this years ago, and I still remember the ending, because that's how it was bold. It was a bold ending. So I would be fine without reading this again, which I probably will still read it again, but I'll be fine without reading this again to just go into the sequel. So you guys don't have to wait until December to read this book and then to read the sequel in January. Just go ahead and read it whenever you can, because this book is awesome, and you have not lived until you've read this book. Same with 172 Hours on the Moon. You have not lived until you've read that book. Just saying. All right, well, thank you for watching. Love you guys. Mwah.